Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Ayush. So, congratulations, first of all. And today we have with us Ayush Ranjan. He is just 12th appearing, the youngest I must have interviewed. 12th appearing, and this was his NDA entry. He is recommended in AFSB from AFSB Gandhinagar for Air Force Flying Branch. So, congratulations, and please tell us at very young age when we did not even think about what to do in life, you thought what motivated you to join the defense services? How did you decide?
First of all, thank you very much, ma'am. And when I was in class ninth, then my school senior, Subham Singh, who was also a student of NFA, got recommended from one FSB, Dehradun, and my family members are also in the armed forces. So I think seeing him and my family members was the biggest motivation for me to join the National Defense Academy.
Okay, that's great. So please tell us, how did you start with your preparation? This was a very first attempt, there is no experience behind, so how did you start?
Yes, ma'am. At first, I started to gather as much knowledge possible about the testing process of the SSB from YouTube and different sources. I started to ask other relatives as well, who has an officer, who are an officer in the armed forces, and then I come to know about No Frills Academy from my school senior. And even before my written examinations, I joined the No Frills Academy in July of 2022, 23, and then I started to follow the guidelines of Colonel Nehru sir, and that is how I prepared.
Okay, you must have been a follower in before you joined. When did you join NFA?
I joined in July 2023, but I have been watching YouTube videos of Colonel Nehru sir from class ninth.
Okay, from class ninth. That's great. And what philosophy did you apply? What all things did you apply in your real life? Things that are taught by Colonel Nehru.
Ma'am, the one of the most important thing which I learned from Colonel Nehru sir was that you should increase your competence at every stage of life. You should never stop at any point of your life. You should try to be better from the previous day. And this is one of the most important thing or philosophy which I learned from Colonel Nehru sir. He always tell us to improve your competence, improve your knowledge, which will eventually improve your competence.
Okay, that's great. So please tell us about your this particular SSB attempt and how did you apply this whatever that you have learned in your SSB. One by one, you can start screening, psychology.
Ma'am, this was my first attempt. I cleared my written examination in September. Then I notified Nehru sir about the same, and then he told me to start participating more in the group activities, and I did the same. And then uh, my SSB was initially at 15th of January, but my board exams were coinciding with that. So I told Nehru sir, and he told me to write an email to the SSB so that my date of the SSB can be changed, and that happens as well. My date was changed to 29th of January. Then I booked the tickets and went to Gandhinagar. In the same train, I find same more candidates of the same SSB from my home city, and in this way, the journey was very pleasant fun, and we also discussed some points. He was also a follower of Colonel Nehru sir from YouTube videos, from YouTube channel. And on the screening, my screening was on 29th of January. On the screening, there were 97 reportings, out of which only one was the repeater, and rest all 96 were freshers. Some were even most of them were in class 12th. And after in screening, we were shown a picture where there was a boy and a woman. The woman was seems to be in a bit of a stress, and so I made a story around that the financial condition of the boy's family is not well, and he is pursuing his family members to do a part-time job, and he started his part-time job along with his studies. And in this way, the economic condition were improved. And then we were then our OER was done before the PP and DT. 75 questions were from verbal and 60 questions were from non-verbal. Nehru sir has told us that while preparing for OIR, you should at least try to get at least 80% of the marks. And so I tried to get at least 80% in every OIR practice set which I practiced by my own. I was getting around 90% in every of the OIR set. So the OIR at the AFSB was very easy for me. I was able to solve 70 questions in the first verbal set out of the 75 questions, and the time was 30 minutes. And in the non-verbal one, I was able to solve all 60 questions in 30 minutes. And in this way, the OIR went well. Then our PPDT was, as I already told about the PP and DT. Then we were given our breakfast and we were taken to a group testing hall where our narration was done and group discussion was done. I narrated my story very well because I had been a participant of the NFA group activities, and that helped me a lot because they also give the participant also give individual suggestion and feedback to each other after the group activities, and that was very helpful for me. And after the narration, we discussed the story, and it was a very peaceful discussion as most of the participants were fresher. So there was no evidence of face market. Little bit even a little bit of face market, that was not there. So our group discussion was carried out very well, and the group was very cooperative. And then we nominated a guy who was a bit dominant, and he was repeating the points. So everyone nominated him to narrate the common story. He narrated the common story, and then we were taken to another hall where we were told to wait. And after that, our screening result were announced, and my chest number at that time was 28. So they announced my chest number, and I got screened in.
Okay, that's great. And then psychology?
Psychology was on the same day. We were our screening result were announced around 11:30 a.m. in the morning, and then we were told. Then we were allotted our rooms. I was in the Jaguar room, and we were taken to the candidate mess where we had our lunch. And then they told us to have a bit of rest because our psychology test was at the same day. The timing of the test was from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And they told us the NCO, our NCO told us that we should take proper rest because before psychological test, at least we should try to get a 25 to 30 minutes nap because it will be beneficial. So I did the same. I slept for around 1 hour, and then after getting up, I got freshened up, and went to the psychological testing hall. It was the same hall where our OIR was done, and then we were shown 12 pictures, where 11 was pictures, and the last one was the blank slide. The pictures were very easy one, and I followed the same guidelines that were given to me by Nehru sir, that the story should be relatable to the picture, and it should be logical. No, no कोई भी बाहर से मिर्च मसाला नहीं डालना है. It should be logical and a simple picture, simple story. So I followed the same, and I think I wrote good stories because I was just able to apply logical ideas to them, and as Nehru sir told us that you should have confidence in whatever you are writing. And so I followed the same, and in the 12th blank slide one was the blank slide I was already prepared from home, and I had shown it to Nehru sir, and he said that it is okay. And then we were shown 60 word, and I was able to complete all of them. After that, we were given a booklet of situation reaction test. I was able to complete 55 SRT out of 60. And then self description, I wrote the same as I have written here in the No Frills Academy. And Nehru sir has told that it was okay, and by that way the psychological test also went well.
Okay. And means wasn't it tiring? It means first attempt and then immediately you had to attempt psychology test after your screening. People face generally this question.
No, ma'am, it wasn't tiring because, as I told you earlier, that I slept for around 1 hour, and that refreshed me up. So I think that was enough time for me to recover and relax.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And then come to your GTO task. First day itself is started or second day?
No, ma'am, my second day was interview. My interview was on the second
Okay,
day
then you
at
cover
11
the
a.m.
interview first.
Okay, ma'am. So my interview was on the second day, and the timing was 11 a.m. And the NCO, who was our, I don't know what it was called. I think it was DS NCO, Duty Selection NCO, non-commissioned officer. He briefed us that we should be ready with our file 45 minutes to 50 minutes before the interview. So I was at the reporting ground at 10:15 a.m. in the morning, and then another officer came and he took us with him. We were around 10 people whose interview was scheduled at 11 a.m. in the morning, and then we were taken to a waiting hall, and I waited there for around 15 to 20 minutes. I chit chat with some friends there, and they were also from my. Some of them were my close neighbors. Like one was from Lucknow and another was from Meerut. So I talked with them a bit and refreshes my mind by doing some light chats. And then my chest number was called, and they called me for interview. My interview was around 50 minutes, and mostly the interviewer asked question around me and myself, my city, my family, and most of the questions were from related to me and my family, like what I do, how do I pass my time with them, how do I support them, whom do I approach if I have any problem, and similar to that. He started with Varanasi, like what is Varanasi, what do youngsters do in Varanasi, what are the famous places, tourist spot, why it is famous, what is its mythological aspect, and questions like that. So I told about like everything I was able to told him, because I am living in Varanasi for last 7 years, and I know good. I have good knowledge of what Varanasi is, and I also told him different meaning of word Varanasi, difference between the word Varanasi and Banaras, and he seems to be impressed by this. And then he told me, okay, Ayush, we will now discuss what Ayush is as a person. Next 45 minutes, we are going to only discuss this. Then he asked questions about me, how I manage my sports studies, who is my favorite teacher, who is my not least favorite teacher, what is my favorite subject, what is which subject I don't like most, how do I spend time, what is my pocket money, how do I spend my money, and how do I manage my finances. It was questions were related to this.
So please tell us when you were asked about these questions, like teachers you did not like or subjects you did not like, did you hesitate or were you honest?
Ma'am, I
I
give the honest answer because as per as teacher is concerned, I don't have any teacher which I did not like. Ma'am, he asked me who is the least favorite teacher. First, he asked me who is the favorite teacher. Then I told him that our chemistry teacher, Sachi Sukla ma'am, is my most favorite teacher. Then he asked me why, and then I told him that she is very supportive. She supports student in every possible way. Like she used to teach even when students can, whenever the students need her, she was always ready to help her. Like coaching students used to learn chemistry from her because she was a very fantastic teacher. She used to explain concept really well, and she was also able to, she also helped students financially. And if there was any problem, like myself has problems, like when I have to change my dates, I consulted her, and she told her that it will be better if I change my SSB dates, because it will be very hard for school to change the board dates, because then I'll have to appear again in some other school, where because it is important to give the board practical while the interviewer is present, while the
understood.
examiner is present.
Mm-hmm.
Then he asked
Understood.
me,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and then he asked me who is the least favorite teacher, and I told him that, sir, there is not any such teacher who is my least favorite, because everyone has supported me. Then after a few time again, after some time, he told me, like, if Satya Shukla ma'am is here, someone might must be here, then someone will be here. Who is the least person? Who is the person who is here? And I again told him, sir, there is no such teacher who is like at the bottom of my list. He then told me, okay, okay. And then he asked me, which is your least favorite subject? And I told him that, sir, as such, I don't have any least favorite subject. I had when I was in class 8th, I was very weak in Sanskrit. So if you will ask me, then Sanskrit will be my least favorite subject. Then he started to laugh and he asked me, is there any subject you don't like in class 12th? And I told him, no, sir, there is not any such subject which I don't like in class 12th. Then he asked me, why? And then he asked me, who is the least favorite subject? And I told him that, sir, there is not any such subject which I don't like in class 12th. Then he started to laugh and he asked me, is there any subject you don't like in class 12th? And I told him, no, sir, there is not any such subject which I don't like in class 12th.
Okay, so please tell us, were you asked something regarding physics, chemistry, maths, or your subjects, or whichever stream that you are a part of, or to grasp your understanding, capability, and all?
No, ma'am. The interviewing officer asked whether I run or not. So I told him that, sir, I don't run. As for the sake of running, I play football, and that is all I run in playing football. So he told me, okay, Ayush, how much do you think you run a day in the match? So I told him, sir, that depends upon the pace of the match and the length of the duration of the match. So he again told me, suppose you are running 3 kilometers in 10 minutes. So you are running 3 kilometers in 10 minutes. So what will be your what distance you will cover in 1 hour? So I told him, sir, then I will cover 18 kilometers in 1 hour. So that is the only maths question he asked.
Okay, that's great. You were quick with that. Okay, please tell us something about NFA groups and how did NFA group activities help you in your selection process? How did it help in actual GD, actual lecturate? How did you apply whatever that you learned here?
Ma'am, I started to participate in NFA group activities before my written examinations, as I told earlier, as I was enrolled in July of 2023. Then I started to participate regularly, and as far as JD is concerned, I was making notes, mind notes of the points which were good points which were told by the group members. Like if the discussion was related to China or Pakistan, then some good point was some there are many great student in the NFA group activities as well. Their points were like very high quality, and their ideas were also very nice while GTO tasks. So I used to note that point in my mind, and if there was some fact and figure, I used to note it in my notebook. And I next time if there is something else related to that topic or that lead, then I used to apply it. And then I used to apply it and give that a point as well. And then lecturate, I learned how to organize my lecturate in 3 minutes by listening to others and by uh, taking their suggestions and feedbacks, and that is how lecturate my lecturate went well. My lecturate topic was self protection. So I was able to speak on that for 3 minutes, and I was able to organize that well.
Okay. And how did you approach the task, the GTO actually, half group task, full group task, and all?
Ma'am, in NFA, we have Maninder Bhaiya who conduct all the group tasks, and he was very supportive. And like I had learned all the ideas when I was a beginner in the group. Then he taught us some thumb rules and GTO basic rules. And then he told us that imagine that he also told us that imagine all the structures are in front of you, and then you have to cross it in your own with that group. Then he used to told us, then he told us, then now apply all the tricks which I have told you, and try to make a path to cross the obstacle. And that was very helpful. When I saw the structures first, it was feeling like I was seeing them on the page on the mobile phone, and then I was able to give the solutions or ideas.
Mm-hmm. And how did you maintain your physical fitness? Because individual obstacles and all require actual physical fitness.
Yes, ma'am. I used to play football, and as per Nehru sir suggestions, I started doing some bit of weight training and started doing push-ups and sit-ups to maintain the upper body strength, and that is how I maintain my physical fitness.
Okay. So please tell us overall, how did interactions with Colonel Nehru help you?
Ma'am, I think that has helped me a lot because I used to ask every problem, every significant problem I have in my life with Nehru sir. Like my boards practical were colliding with my SSB dates. Then I asked him. Also, there was a time when I was not able to cope up with my NDA preparation, my JE preparation, and my school football competitions. So then I also took his guidance, and he supported me at that time. And like talking to him was something that gave an instant motivation. Like I was feeling like कि अगर सर ने बोल दिया तो मतलब मैं तो कर ही सकता हूँ. It was something like that. So and Nehru sir suggestions were also there. Like he in the starting I was not very confident of what I was writing, mainly in the TATs. Then he told me that all the stories which you have written is good, and you just need to be confident. You need to have confidence in yourself. So that is how I think that has helped me a lot.
Okay, one of the last questions. The practical guidebook to become an officer. Did you read it, and how did it help you?
Yes, ma'am, I had read it. I like there is a solution to everything. Like the sir has told that how to increase your competence. What should be done in like the delayed rule of gratifications. Sir, give an example, like if you're having the favorite like if you're having a dish, have the most favorite part of your dish in the last. That will improve your mental stamina, because you are delaying yourself from the reward. And that is that is one of the point. And then other points were like related to pp and TATs, what should be done, what should not be done, and some general myths which were cleared. And as well as physical fitness. And then some study related tips that toppers need only study for 8 hours a day and not 16 hour 18 hours a day, etc. So practical guide to become an officer was really helpful for me. And I had already read it before joining NFA once or twice, because my brother has sent me the PDF of that.
Okay, now I have taken over from Yogita. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
बच्चे एक बताओ, देखो अब क्या है आपके केस में, आप 9th क्लास से आपने हमको फॉलो करना शुरू कर दिया, ठीक है ना? तो थोड़ा
Yes, sir.
ठंडे दिमाग से सोचकर ये बताओ कि आपकी लाइफ बिफोर कमिंग इन कांटेक्ट विद नो फ्रिल्स एकेडमी कैसे चल रही थी, और नो फ्रिल्स एकेडमी का हल्के हल्के इन्फ्लुएंस जो आपकी जिंदगी में आया, उससे क्या क्या चेंजेस आए, क्या क्या फर्क पड़े आपके लाइफस्टाइल में, क्योंकि ये वैल्यूएबल होंगे बाकी लोगों के लिए भी।
सर सबसे पहले तो जब मैंने 9th में देखना स्टार्ट किया, देन आई वाज मोस्टली फोकस ऑन PPDT, साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट एंड ऑल, बिकॉज मुझे उतना पता नहीं था कि अभी क्या करना है। एंड मैंने मुझे आई थिंक दैट साइकोलॉजी इज समथिंग व्हिच टेक्स सम मोर टाइम टू प्रिपेयर, because that is the like that is related to mind. And the thought process can be developed over a period of time. It cannot be developed over a period of 15 days or 20 days. So I started to follow psychological aspect from class 9th. And then when I joined NFA, I was not very confident with my I was not very confident with my English. And then Nehru sir told me that I need to improve my general awareness. I have to improve a bit on my English, and I need to I need to have a grasp on my English as well as my communication skill. I was able to convey my ideas, but my skills were a bit lagging. So that is the most important thing. Another thing was I was able to participate in GD, group discussion and group activities. Initially, I was a very shy person. I did not speak much. I had points, but I was reluctant or hesitant to speak them. But as time passed, and from the suggestions of the group member, I overcome my shyness and started giving points. And also, Nehru sir has told us to be assertive and not aggressive during group discussions. So that is what I followed. And then in self description, I showed it to various group members like Maninder Bhaiya, and then Sudhanshu Bhaiya, who is in NFA 27. And they told us that it is okay, you should also consult Nehru sir. And then before joining NFA, we are giving a psychological test, and I write the same in the psychological test. And Nehru sir told that my SG is okay, and I have a fair idea about who I am. So in that way, it helped very much.
यार आप मेरे को बात करते हुए नेहरू सर ऐसे बोल रहे हो जैसे कोई नेहरू सर थर्ड पर्सन है, मेरे ही तो बात कर रहा है यार कि नेहरू सर जैसे ये यू टोल्ड मी। मैं ही सरप्राइज हो रहा हूँ यार, ये कौन सा आदमी नेहरू सर आ गया।
नो सर, वो योगिता मैम थी तो मैंने
अंडरस्टूड फाइन फाइन फाइन। यू आर, आपका डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग योगिता मैडम वाली कॉन्वर्सेशन का चल रहा। हाँ, नहीं आपने बातें तो बताई, मैं जो मेन बात ये कह रहा था, जो शायद आप पकड़ नहीं पाए मेरी बात, वो ये था कि आपका एटीट्यूडनल कुछ जिंदगी में चेंज आया जब नो फ्रिल्स एकेडमी के आप कांटेक्ट में आए, या आपका एटीट्यूड वैसे ही चलता रहा? जैसे अभी आप बातें तो टीएटी में इम्प्रूवमेंट, लेक्चरेट उनकी इम्प्रूवमेंट की बातें कर रहे हो, और आपको पता है मैं कहता हूं कि ये सारी चीजें जो है मिला जुला के 5% होता है इनका मामला, 95% तो जो आप असल में हो वो है चीजें। तो ये चीजें आपके ग्रास में कब आई और कब आपने इन चीजों को अपने इम्प्लीमेंट करना शुरू किया लाइफस्टाइल में, और क्या चेंजेस आ पाए आपने ओवरऑल?
सर द फर्स्ट थिंग वाज टाइम मैनेजमेंट सर, जो कि मैंने यहाँ पे सीखा सर से, क्योंकि सर ने एक ऐसा टाइम था जब मैं
नहीं
व्हेन आई
सर ने
वाज
नहीं,
इन द स्कूल
मैंने
फुट
बोला, कर्नल
यस
नेहरू
सर,
ने बोला।
आपने यस सर, सर जब आपने बोला कि व्हेन आई वाज इन अ डिलेमा कि मैं स्कूल फुटबॉल टीम की तरफ से अच्छा करूं, अपने जेई की तैयारी करूं या फिर एनडीए प्रिपरेशन की तैयारी करूं, तो उस समय सर ने मेरी काफी मदद की, आपने मेरी काफी मदद की। एंड उस समय आपने बोला कि यू शुड ट्राई टू हैव अ बैलेंस, लाइक फुटबॉल प्रैक्टिस एक टाइम ही होती होगी, यू शुड फोकस ऑन दैट एट दैट टाइम ऑफ द डे, एंड देन एनडीए एग्जामिनेशंस के लिए मैथ्स यू कैन कोप अप फ्रॉम द जेई पार्ट, बिकॉज मैथ्स तो हर जगह लगभग सेम ही होता है, अ बिट जेई वाला थोड़ा सा टफ होता है, बट एनडीए से वो चल जाएगा। एंड देन रिगार्डिंग फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री, सो आपने बोला कि दैट it will be very beneficial if I cope up with that, because 12th के boards भी होने हैं, so that will be beneficial in the boards also. So the time management is one thing, because earlier if I think if I look back and think कि अगर मैं पहले ये करना चाहता तो शायद ये नहीं हो पाता, maybe because it may be because of intrinsic motivation or some factor, but I don't think कि मैं ये कर पाता. The second one was physical fitness. I used to play football from earlier times, from class ninth, but I was not a like मैं regularly उतना नहीं करता था. Then sir ने आपने बोला कि you need to improve your physical fitness as well and reduce my weight. That was the most significant thing, because at that time I was 63 kgs, and sir told me that you should you should try to, you should not try to reduce it drastically, but over a period of time. So when in July I had time, because my SSB was in tentative date was January, so I had around time of 5 months, and आपने बोला कि you should come to at least 58 or 57, and now my weight is 57 kgs in the medicals, so that is the one other thing. And then I tried to I learned various qualities like multitasking, like I was also selected as school sports captain in my school, apart from becoming a football team member, football team player. And these are the qualities or things which I think I have improved after joining the No Frills Academy. And leadership also a bit, because I was a bit I was a bit dominant in some field of the GD. Like everyone was saying ki that point was good, and you should also ma'am also given me an opportunity to host the NFA group activities, but at that time I was a bit busy with football schedules and all, so I was not able to conduct any group activities. So these are the things which I have which I thought that I have improved.
वेरी गुड। अच्छा, फिटनेस गाइड भी पढ़ा ध्यान से आपने, नहीं पढ़ पाए थे कभी?
Yes sir, I had read it, fitness guide.
पढ़ा ध्यान से। ये बताओ, अपनी फुटबॉल टीम वालों को कुछ टिप्स दिए उसमें से आपने?
सर उनमें से काफी लोग वैसे फिटनेस के बारे में पहले से ही हैं, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे थे जिनके मैंने थोड़े से टिप्स दिए, लाइक द सर टोल्ड अस कि जो थोड़े से मोटे हैं उनको पहले कंटिन्यूअस भागना चाहिए, ऐसे स्पीड पे, सर आपकी बुक में ये लिखा है, जिसपे वो एक नॉर्मल कन्वर्सेशन होल्ड कर सके, देन उन्हें ग्रेजुअली डिस्टेंस इंक्रीज करनी चाहिए, एंड देन आफ्टर विथ प्रॉपर रिकवरी, क्योंकि बिकॉज इंजरी भी नहीं करनी है और डिस्टेंस भी इंक्रीज करनी है, एंड देन आफ्टर डिस्टेंस इंक्रीज like 5 kilometer, 7 kilometer, 10 kilometer, then they should try to reduce their timing. So that is how I told them. And apart from that, plyometrics and all, as we train in our football tournaments, so these are the tips which I give them.
वेरी नाइस। अब ये बताओ कि आपका क्या सजेशन है? अभी बहुत सारे बच्चे जो हैं वो 12th का बोर्ड देने वाले हैं, साथ साथ उसके तुरंत बाद में एनडीए का एग्जाम देना होगा और उसके बाद एसएसबी की तैयारी करनी। तो ये आप सोच के जो है, आपकी क्या राय है उनके लिए? बिल्कुल हिंदी में बताओ, बिल्कुल सिंपल सिंपल तरीके से, जैसे आपको कोई छोटा भाई या क्लास में ना, क्योंकि अब स्कूल में तो आप स्टार हो गए हो, अब आपके जो बच्चे पूछेंगे आपसे, जूनियर जो है ना 11th 12th में आने वाले, कि भाई क्या करना चाहिए, क्या फॉर्मूला आपके हिसाब से है जो सही बैठ जाए?
सर क्योंकि बोर्ड्स तो अब मेरे कल से चालू होने वाले हैं, स्टार्ट होने वाले हैं, तो पहला फोकस तो ऑब्वियसली बोर्ड्स होना चाहिए, लेकिन बोर्ड्स में ही हमें एनडीए के मैथ्स को कवर करने के लिए ट्राई करना चाहिए, क्योंकि बोर्ड्स में 12th की पूरी सिलेबस आती है, और एनडीए के मैथ्स में हमने देखा है कि कैलकुलस एंड प्रोबेबिलिटी एंड स्टैटिस्टिक्स, ये जो पार्ट है वो काफी अलॉन्ग विथ ट्रिग्नोमेट्री, वो काफी पोर्शन कवर करता है एनडीए मैथ्स का। और अगर किसी को मैथ्स में बस 100 मार्क्स और बस क्वालिफाई करना है, तो 12th के बोर्ड्स की तैयारी के साथ वो इजीली हो सकता है। And apart from that, GAT is something which is not very vast. Like it is vast, but if we analyze the past year, लेकिन हम अगर past year papers को analyze करें, so we will find that some topics are there which are very easy, like, and they are being repeatedly asked in the examinations. GAT में if someone is from science stream, then his physics and chemistry won't be a very much problem for him, very big problem, because science, physics and chemistry are basic levels. They are asked only for till class 10th levels. And if along with that, if he can read geography, because that is also around same weightage as physics, it is also वो भी 100 नंबर का ही आता है. So if someone can read geography, they can improve their marks. Apart from that, English as
करीब 20 दिन का बता, 20 दिन में तकरीबन क्या क्या, क्योंकि लगभग इतना ही करीब टाइम रहने वाला एनडीए वाला, मतलब बोर्ड देने के बाद बंदे के पास.
Sir, I think then 20 दिन में English as much as he can do, anyone can do, because English 200 नंबर का होता है and they should try to score maximum. English का पेपर उतना टफ भी नहीं होता. If someone is from CBSE background, he can easily cope up with the English. And then maths तो 12th के बोर्ड के साथ हो ही जाएगा. And apart from that, physics and chemistry along with a bit of biology, they can revise from class 10th NCERT. It won't take much time. I think 5 to 6 days for science is enough. And in that way, they will be able to easily score around 400 marks. And for SSB, like SSB is not something which you can prepare for in like 10 days or 15 days, but they should try to learn about the various world events, upcoming events, and the ongoing events, as well as the events which has occurred in the past, and as well as the Indian issues, the national issues, international issues, bit of them. Because if someone is fresher, then the interview is mostly around themselves only. And GD topics was also, in my case, the GD topics was social topic, and both the topics were social one. So I don't think that so if someone is fresher, he need to go much deep into international affairs and something like that. And psychological tests is something that like they cannot prepare in in a short period of time. उसके लिए थोड़ा ज्यादा टाइम चाहिए. So psychological test, as Nehru sir already told, that you don't even need to prepare for it. अगर आपकी psychology अच्छी है, आपने 95%, as sir has already told, 95% is from what you have done in the previous part of your life, past of your life. So psychology के लिए कुछ कर नहीं सकते, but you can always prepare VAT and SAT. You can improve your writing speed, so you can attempt maximum number of questions. And so that is all.
Very, very fine. I don't have any more questions for you. Do you have any suggestions for our other students and for No Frills Academy?
Sir, I don't think I have any suggestions for No Frills Academy. As far as the students are concerned, जैसा कि आप हमेशा बोलते रहते हैं कि we should try to improve our knowledge and competence, because that is what which makes us stand apart from the others, because that is what which help us in the long run of life. Because we may not succeed at SSB, but if we are competent in our life, then we will try to do better things in life.
एक इंटरनल हमारी प्रॉब्लम है, वो मेरी प्रॉब्लम है कर्नल नेहरू की, वो ये है कि बहुत से स्टूडेंट मेरे से डर जाते हैं और बात नहीं करते. वो कहते हैं यार ये डांट देगा. आपको डांट नहीं पड़ी?
सर मैं भी डरता था सर, और मुझे नहीं लगता मेरे से ज्यादा डांट किसी को पड़ी होगी सर. Like I have talked to you in like 15 to 20 times. मतलब मुझे कोई भी छोटी भी प्रॉब्लम होती थी तो मुझे लगता था सर से एक बार बात कर लेते हैं, हो सकता है उनके पास कोई बेटर सोल्यूशन हो. तो मुझे भी डांट पड़ी थी सर, बट वो डांट ही है जो मुझे थोड़ा सा like which give me confidence कि हाँ अगर सर ने बोला है तो इजी है. If sir has confidence on me, then I will be able to do it.
अच्छा, डांट तो चलो मारी, तेरी बात की जो प्रॉब्लम थी उसका सोल्यूशन दिया था कि मैंने नहीं दिया था?
सर सॉल्यूशन तो मिल जाता है सर, वो डांट के बाद तो सॉल्यूशन मिल ही जाता है सर.
ओके. तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये है आप लोगों से, जो मेरे से डर जाते हो, बात नहीं करते हो, प्लीज मेरे से बात कर लिया करो. इट विल हेल्प यू. ठीक है ना? कई बार आप कुछ चीजें ऐसी करते हो, मे बी मेरी अपनी इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम होगी, कुछ आप मतलब बेवकूफी की बात करते हो तो मेरे को गुस्सा आ जाता है. तो आई मीन दैट्स पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ यार. आई एम एन ओल्ड पर्सन. आ जाता है तो आ जाता है. I try to control it कि आप बच्चे हो, but maybe, I mean, that's my drawback, but please do talk to me. I have nothing more to ask. You've done us proud, Ayush. Great job. And please keep guiding other group members, also your, in your family, and also your school juniors and all that. Motivate them. Fine. Set a good example for them that they should also join NDA and technical entry schemes. These are good options they have. I have nothing more to ask. You are open to questions from others. Please go ahead, ask your questions.